Tucson has become a major inland port, just part of the growth of Arizona's second largest city. Right across the street and still going strong, Tucson Speedway. Part 2 of the K&N Pro Series doubleheader is next. It's been a hot day in Tucson, 103 degrees in the sunshine. The autograph session happened before the first of two 100-lap races. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. It was certainly one for 90-year-old Herschel McGriff making his final start in NASCAR. Lives here in Tucson now, grew up in Portland. Good to see him on the track one final time. At the start, it was the pole sitter Derek Kraus, but he got passed early by Cody Vanderwall in the 43.
Cody Vanderwall, the young gun, rolling the outside, took off and had a really commanding lead at the beginning of this race, was able to come home with that checkered flag.
Had a late race restart, held off Derek Thorne, and it was an exciting finish to the first of two Port of Tucson Twin 100s here at the Tucson Speedway. I'm Dave Burns, along with Brandon McReynolds. He's the other voice you hear in the booth. And down on pit road, Derek Perniciglio, who has stayed hydrated and is ready for another 100 laps here from the K&N Pro Series West drivers. The weather, it's dropped all the way down to 80 degrees, Brandon.
I know the drivers got to be really excited that the air temperature and track temperature has calmed down and really decreased over the last hour here or so. But these drivers, they got themselves a drink of water. They're ready to go out there and do battle for another 100 laps here at Tucson Speedway.
Full points paid in the first 100-lapper, full points paid in this one. Here's how it stands as they enter race number 2. Derek Thorne has picked up 2 points on leader Derek Kraus.
We're seeing his experience really pay off. I know he's been running a lot of super late model races, coming back into the K&N West Series. I'll look for him to have a really strong run in this second race.
Cody Vanderwall, who won the race, is now 6th in the points. Here's Derek Perniciglio.
Dave, it's time to go racing again here at the Tucson Speedway, and it's race number 2 of the Port of Tucson 100s, Twin 100s. And look at these cars. They're all lined up, ready to go. We've got our former winner from the first race, Cody Vanderwall in the 43. He'll start 4th. Cole Rouse will go to 3rd. Then the Sunrise team of Derek Thorne will start on the outside pole of row number 1, and it'll be an all-Derek front row with Derek Kraus starting on the pole. The good part about tonight is there were no huge wrecks in the first race. Everyone that was able to compete in the first race will run the second race here tonight.
That's really important, Dave. All these drivers, they took a really good care of their cars in that first race. Coming into the second race, it allows their crew chiefs to be able to tune on their race cars. They know what they dealt with that first race, and they're going to try to apply it to their handling of the race cars going into the second race at Tucson.
Some of the old school drivers are saying Twin 100s. Well, back in the day, we ran 250 laps at the Tucson Speedway. Here's a look at the 2001 race. That's John Baker on the pole in the 18. Good battle between veteran Kevin Richards in the 85 car and Johnny Borneman III in that 8. And, oh, by the way, there's 73 years young Herschel McGriff scored his final top 5 in the series. It was his 100th top 5 late in the race. Baker and Portengay getting together in the 3 car. That set up a late race restart, and though Tony Schmidt had led 101 laps on the day, it was Johnny Borneman III, his first win in the 8 car in his 8th start. He's pretty happy.
Johnny Borneman, I've had the pleasure of racing with him a few times back in the day. Really strong competitor. I can't imagine running 250 laps around this really tough short track.
You would have to have a break. You would probably have to have some tires, too, and maybe a good pit stop.
Maybe some pure oxygen, too.
Yeah. NASCAR is setting the lineup for race 2 by fastest speeds in race 1. So, Derek, who's on the pole?
Dave, Derek Kraus is on the pole for the second time tonight for the second Port of Tucson Twin 100s. Derek, you finished 4th in the first race. You're back on the pole tonight. What do you think you can do to pick up the win?
I really feel like I got to save a little bit more tire than I did the first race. I feel like we pushed it a little bit too hard, too early, and this race will save a little bit more for the end, and I think that'll help a lot.
What kind of changes did the crew make to the car for the second race?
They helped it into the center of the corner. It was a little free in and tight in the center, but the BMR crew worked really hard on number 16 Apple Parts Toyota Camry for the second race, and really looking forward to it.
Derek Kraus is looking for his second win this season.
Dave, Derek Kraus brought up an interesting point. You know, we watched Cody Vanderwall really take off to that early race lead, get that gap on his competitors. I'm shocked to hear Derek say that he feels like he needs to save more at the beginning of this race.
We'll see who made the right moves in the pits, who makes the right decisions to start race number 2. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems, because everyone loves that fast car smell. Getting ready for the start of race number 2 in the Port of Tucson Twin 100s at Tucson Speedway. Cars have been down to the pits. They have been re-inspected for the start of another points-paying event. And we'll certainly be watching pole sitter Derek Kraus again. Derek Pernasiglio, who else should we have our eye on?
The Patriot Motorsports team, the number 43 of Cody Vanderwall, is going to be our who-to-watch driver here tonight. And he picked up his first win for the Patriot Motorsports team in race number 1 here at the Tucson Speedway. They've been trying to build up their race team and get more drivers to come in and try their hand at K&N Pro Series Racing. And with Cody's performance tonight, they're hoping that they can get more drivers to come and join their program.
And Brandon, I didn't realize till I looked it up, Chris Eggleston has driven for Patriot, Ryan Partridge, Will Rogers, Matt Levine. A lot of guys got their start with John Wood and Patriot Motorsports Group.
Wow, I'm shocked to hear that. I didn't know that stat either. It's pretty interesting. And we see on the hood of Cody Vanderwall's car, it says your name here. I'm blown away that somebody didn't jump on board for this second race after his commanding lead in dominant fashion in that first race.
Here's the starting lineup. We told you set by your fastest lap time in race number 1. So Kraus, Thorne, Rouse, and Vanderwall had the quickest of them all. As you look back through the field, 3 ladies in the event tonight: Vanessa Robinson, Haley Deegan, and Cassie Gannis. See how far forward they can race by the end of the night. Bill Kahn will be the final starter in the 17-car field. So Derek Thorne on the inside is the number 6. The pole sitter is Derek Kraus. He's chosen the outside, Brendan, for race 2.
He's going to try to get that good launch on this initial start, trying to get the momentum through turns 1 and 2 and keep that lead.
And he does it. He will take a half-car length lead into turn number 1. Thorne quick to follow and try on the inside. Good run off the corner for the 16.
Derek Kraus talked about how he fired off too quick in that first race.
Whoa! Cole Rouse is around already in the 99. Haley Deegan narrowly missing and up in the wall. Perhaps a little damage. The 27 of Robinson, the 13 of Matt Sousa. He's got some damage on the left rear, and right away, the first caution of race number 2.
I think Cole Rouse has the car to be able to come back through the field after that spin in turns 3 and 4. But how bad did he hurt his tires right there, sliding around on the racetrack, possibly locking up those 4 Goodyear tires?
There's Rouse, a 20-year-old from Fort Smith, Arkansas. So much looking forward to running for the championship here for Bill McAnally Racing. Had a nice third-place finish at Kern County to start the year, and just a few moments ago finished 7th in the first round. Let's see what we can see, Brandon.
Looks like Cole Rouse in the 99 just loose up underneath the 43 of Cody Vanderwall. I know he fought that loose condition in that first race. I was talking to Ty Joyner during the break, just trying to get the loose end feeling in that uneasy sensation out of that 99 car. Looks like they're still battling that here in the early going of this race.
Right, you figured they would have made some adjustment. Every team got to put on 4 fresh tires, but that may still not be out of the 99 as much as they'd like it to be. Let's go down to Derek.
Takuma Koga brings the John Krebs Racing number 11 down to the attention of the crew. Just some cosmetic damage right now on the right front corner of the car, pulling away some of that bumper cover, and that's really all it is. No major damage to the number 11 machine.
So Takuma was the one that ran into Todd Sousa's number 13 and crinkled up his left rear. They're both back underway and ready to resume this race. The 16 of Kraus again chooses the outside. To his inside, Derek Thorne. Behind him, the 43 of Vanderwall and the 9 of Ryan Partridge. They go, firing off again. The leader is Kraus, and he takes a big jump into turn 1.
Yeah, Kraus looked like he went pretty early coming to that line, the restart line off of turn 4. Got that really good launch. But here comes Ryan Partridge in the 9, working the middle. Huge momentum off of turn 4, taking the lead.
Partridge takes that top spot, and we are now hearing from NASCAR. They are reviewing the start to see if indeed Derek Kraus jumped the restart. Now, there is no give back rule in NASCAR, so if he was laying back to let the 9 come back by, that really doesn't matter. They're reviewing whether or not Derek Kraus jumped before the white line coming out of turn number 4. He was the restart leader, so he's supposed to fire off at or in the area of that white line. NASCAR is still checking that out. Derek?
And how about that number 40 of Stormin Ron Norman, one of the other guys that's got home field advantage. He's a teammate to Matt Levine, and if you notice, he and the 10 car are probably higher up on the track than anyone else. And in the first 9 laps of this race, Dave, he went from 7th to 2nd.
Good run to start. Now down in front of us, Jesse Iwuji is stopped on the front stretch, and NASCAR is going to have to put out the caution because that 36 car is stalled and will not go. So, a lot happening here. Derek Kraus under review for that last restart, and NASCAR is now telling us they are posting the 16 car, Brandon. He left too early before the white restart line.
Yeah, there's a white line.
See it right there.
You can see it with the cone down on the inside in the grass. But if you go just a little too early, NASCAR will work with you. They'll give you a little bit of room. But if you go way too early, they're going to call you out on it. And tough break for Derek Kraus, our point leader, trying to hang on to those precious points while the Sunrise Fords look really fast at the start of this race.
But I mean, good news for him right now, because with Iwuji stop there, this would be a great time to, take care of your penalty.
Yeah, pull in the pits and go ahead and serve it right now while you can.
Big shuffle at the front at Tucson. Getting ready to resume racing at the Port of Tucson Twin 100 race number 2. Derek Kraus did not take advantage of the caution to serve his penalty. He's on the outside of row number 2 at the restart, and now he's going to do it. Ryan Partridge is the leader, but Kraus is heading for the pits.
Those are huge points implications right there, Dave. I'm blown away that he didn't pit under that caution. Whether he felt like he was right or wrong, go ahead and listen to NASCAR. Come down pit road, take your penalty, and life goes on. You're still going to be in the hunt of this race. But now he's put himself in a bind.
And it's a slow pit road. They're outside of the racing track. There's no infield pits, so he's got to go all the way out and come back around, and he'll be at least 1 lap down to the leaders.
Well, and I will say that was a very quick caution, and sometimes a race team, you have so many different people on the radio trying to communicate to the driver, trying to communicate to NASCAR. So sometimes there can be a lot of confusion. I'm sure that's what's going on here with the 16, because it doesn't make any sense to wait until the green comes back out to serve your penalty.
No confusion here. Ron Norman in the 40 has stormed to the front. Let's take a look at what happened to Kraus. The white line is the restart line.
Yeah, right here. He's about 2 car lengths away from that line. That's just a little too much. You want to almost have your nose to that line or in the vicinity of that line before you launch, being the leader of the race.
He is the control car, but he took control a little too early here.
Yeah, it looks about that 2.5 car lengths, which is a little too much. And it's a judgment call for NASCAR. It's a tough call to make, and that's the one they made, and you just got to stand by that and go by the rule book.
And it happens. We saw Chase Purdy, unfortunately, give away a possible race win last year at South Boston. Brandon, these are young drivers learning the ropes in NASCAR, and sometimes you have a learning experience.
That's right. And one of the most valuable lessons that you learn racing in NASCAR is it was here before you, and it'll be here after you. So you got to go by the rules. It's a learning lesson, and Derek will definitely learn from this. And the best thing he can do is go and talk to the officials about it and get a better understanding of what that rule is moving forward.
To introduce you to the field here, Haley Deegan is in the 19 car. She's a rookie on the series for Bill McAnally Racing against her teammate, the 99 of Cole Rouse. And behind them now, Derek Thorne, who started up front, maybe conserving a little tire, has fallen back in that 6.
Yeah, it seems like some of these younger guys and gals are taking off a lot quicker than the first race, trying to get that precious track position. Haley Deegan doing exactly what we thought she would be doing this year, getting better each and every week. We watched her run 8th in the first race tonight, and here she is battling up towards the top 5, running in the 4th position.
Wants to be a racer, 16 years old, says she's working on her studies to get ahead and try to graduate a year early so she can focus on this. And what more?
Smyrna and at Bristol a couple weeks ago, she knows her place. She knows that she's coming into this. She has a lot to learn. She's really leaning on her teammates, Cole Rouse and Derek Kraus, who have a little bit more experience, and that's how you become a better driver. If you come in and think you're better than everyone, you're never going to get any better. You're going to feel like you're at the top. So I'm really impressed with her talent and where her mindset is. Her parents have done a great job raising her and making a really strong racer out of her.
Showing a good battle for 7th, 3 wide action here at Tucson. Robinson in the middle, Huddleston down below, and on top, Matt Levine. His teammate, Ron Norman, has stormed out to the race lead on that high side. And Matt, who raced that high side in the first race, hopefully learned a little bit of a lesson about conserving tires. Maybe he's hoping a second time is a charm. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We saw him really get put in a bind in that first race, really wearing out his tires. His teammate Ron Norman leading this race, just running that outside groove. I got to go back to, with my experience racing at this racetrack, it's very hard on those tires if you stay out there. He moved back down to the middle a little bit down here in 3 and 4. Maybe he sees Ryan Partridge working that bottom, closing in on him.
Ron Norman runs Norman Levine Racing. The two have teamed up for a couple of years now, racing together, first just locally here and then going on the national circuit a couple of years ago. And Matt Levine told me he had to hire Ron away to be the full-time guy in the shop because the Port of Tucson is going so crazy with business. That's what Matt has to concentrate on, and Ron's in charge now. Just lost the lead to Ryan Partridge right there.
Yeah, Ron's a really great racer. I can remember racing here a few years ago. I thought I had one of the best laps in qualifying. It's all I had. I got out, my hands were shaking. I knew I'd done a really good job laying down a lap. They're like, well, you're like 2/10 off Ron Norman. So I qualified second to him. But really cool racer, really cool guy to be around, and having a good run here tonight. I just think that outside's really going to hurt those tires later on.
See Vanessa Robinson from Las Cruces, New Mexico, making her way around Derek Thorne if she can. It's another Jefferson Pitts car. She wanted to be in that car last year, the black 27 we're talking about. Had some health concerns that kept her out of racing most of the season and negated any chance she had at running in the K&N Pro Series.
Yeah, I talked to Jeff Jefferson and Jerry Pitts a lot, and I heard her name come up a ton last year, as you mentioned, with that team. And I know she's going to be really excited, showing people in the world what she can do here tonight at Tucson Speedway, a track she really knows how to get around.
I'm watching, and I'm hearing a familiar drum beat. It's the sound of Cody Vanderwall making his way forward in that 43. He dominated race number 1 here tonight. He's trying to take second place from Ron Norman now.
Cody really working the bottom. Left side's just below that white line down there on the bottom. There's a lot of grip down there to really help you turn the middle of the corner. Keeps good forward drive in your car. By forward drive, what I mean is just keeping both rear tires hooked up. And Dave, to be honest with you, I'd be shocked if a lot of these guys at this point in the race, being 35 laps in, if they're even getting wide open with these cars. This track is so abrasive, and you want to make sure you have those rear tires on your car, meaning gripping them later in the race.
There's Vanderwall clearing the 40 of Norman, and he's clearly in second now, Derek.
Cody Vanderwall is one of those drivers that is not going to be denied tonight. He won the first race of the evening in the Port of Tucson Twin 100s, and he probably has more laps here this evening than anyone because he just ran the 50-lap super late model race. He almost won that, too. He was running near the front until a flat tire late in the going took him out of contention.
The Vanderwalls come from Michigan. His dad, Rudy, is known as the Flying Dutchman at the Colorado National Speedway, where he races regularly. Grandparents were dairy farmers, but they got the racing bug when Rudy's wife gave him a gift of the Jeff Gordon Racing School at Kansas Speedway. From there, he had the bug, and he's given it to his son, Cody, who is putting on a show and showing everyone what he can do behind the wheel at Tucson.
Hi, my name's Ryan Partridge. I'm driving the number 9 Sunrise Ford. I started driving when I was 4 years old. I started in quarter midgets, moved up into go-karts, legend cars, late models, super late models, and I was a contender a couple years ago in the 2015 and 16 season for the K&N Pro West Series. I really appreciate this division because of its competitive nature. It's one of the most competitive, prestigious divisions on the West Coast. It's a ton of fun. I mean, you're getting down to bona fide, good old-fashioned short track racing. Some fenders missing off the cars at the end of the race. The fact that you can go wheel to wheel and beat some doors and bang some fenders and finish the end of the race and shake hands and drink a beer after, I think that's what the division's all about. I'm Ryan Partridge, and that's your NASCAR Next Gen Profile.
I think Ryan showed us a few good examples of why he loves racing the K&N Pro Series. That was some good, hard racing.
Man, he's making me want to get back out of the booth and come back out here to the West Coast and race with these guys some more. I feel like I should be down there and trading paint with those boys, having a lot of fun tonight.
That's the voice of Brandon McReynolds, former competitor for Bill McAnally Racing in this series, currently running in the East, and he'll be at South Boston for the next K&N Pro Series race. I'm Dave Burns. Derek Perniciglio is on pit road for us tonight. We saw one good one. And then this one's a little bit different. The first one was really the Cody Vanderwall show. It's been a lot of other drivers sort of maybe they learned something from the first race, Brandon.
Really, other than Derek Kraus in his interview earlier in the show, what we're seeing is these young guys really push forward and not save as much tire at the start of the race, so the lineup's looking a little bit different. Cody Vanderwall was the only car that really jumped out there to that lead. We watched Ron Norman really run that outside groove and be really hard on his tires, which he's somewhat paying for right now. Just different strategies here in this second race.
Devin Dodson is in that black and red number 7. Did you see his tweet earlier today? He had his eye on the Xfinity race at Dover. He said, hey, number 7 won. That was Allgaier. And then the 7 horse in the Kentucky Derby was Justify, and he won. So he's kind of like, yeah, why not me?
Man, he called himself out. No pressure for tonight, especially being a rookie. But he's done a really good job working with Jefferson Pitch Racing. Those guys always bring really fast race cars here to the racetrack.
Devin is from Ocean City, Maryland area. Grew up racing on the dirt tracks of Delaware and has come all this way to make his K&N Pro Series debut. Here is the fight for the lead. Ryan Partridge has it. The car that has been the best all night so far, Cody Vanderwall, is right there.
The only difference I see between these two race cars, the 43, he's able to get down in the corner, Cody Vanderwall, keep the same arc down into turn 1, right in the middle, right there. He's right below that white line, and it allows him to just roll up on the 9 of Ryan Partridge. That car's working really strong here tonight, Dave.
Track like this, Brandon, such a circular shape. The one thing your car has to do is turn, right?
That's right. You got to be able to roll the middle of the corner. And one of the things you struggle with here as a race car driver is the entries are kind of light. They make the car feel really uneasy. So a lot of times in practice or after the first race like we had here tonight, you'll chase that loose end and you'll try to tighten your car up so much. And then all it does as time goes on is just make you tighter and tighter to where you got to slow down the middle of the corner. These two drivers right here, they've really got a good handle on their cars, though.
Let's hear more from Derek down in the pits.
After talking with Ryan Partridge earlier in the day today, he said that racing on these new radial tires is a bit of a change for him. He's never felt a tire like this. So one of the goals that he wanted to do was be able to get out away from everyone else and set his own pace so he can figure out the feel of the tires and how they're going to go as the laps start to click off.
Always filling the notebooks, aren't you, drivers?
Absolutely, and I think that's a really veteran move by Ryan Partridge. Instead of having to race other guys and learn about the tire, how much it falls off, he's thinking, if I just get out to a better lead like Cody Vanderwall in that first race, then I'll be able to really learn about my car and understand how this tire is going to give out or stay with me throughout the course of the race.
It's a battle for 6. Trevor Huddleston in the 22, Vanessa Robinson in the 27. Robinson, the 28-year-old from New Mexico. Her dad was a machinist and engine builder. Her mom raced as well. They passed on that gene to this young lady.
Vanessa's doing a really good job keeping the 22 of Huddleston pinned down on the bottom, really taking away his exit of the corner, and that's what's important to keep track position and keep that position. She's really fighting hard there on the outside.
Side-by-side, lap after lap. Fans in the stands who come to Tucson often know that the lanes here, they're all usable. It seems like 3, sometimes 4 wide here at Tucson. And now the leader's working through lap traffic. That's the damaged 13 of Todd Souza. He was in the early race incident. Didn't repair that 13 car. The number very easy to see now on the left rear quarter panel. Bill Kahn in the 18 has gone a lap down.
Todd Souza in that 13 is like a parachute out there with that left rear quarter panel flapping around like that. And what's crazy is this racetrack, it's not an ultra fast racetrack. It's not like going to Darlington or Atlanta or Michigan, but I guarantee in the cockpit of that car, he can feel that left rear really slowing him down the straightaways.
Back up to the 6 of Thorne and the 99 of Rouse. First caution of the night was for Cole Rouse with a car that looked like it was loose into the corner. Brandon, does that fix itself over time?
The only thing as a driver that you can do to help fix that is just add front brake to the car. There's a little dial that sits next to the seat that you can actually round in front brake to that race car, and it helps snug the car up and give it some security getting in. That way it doesn't have all rear brake trying to spin you out. So I'm sure Cole Rouse is really working with that, talking to his crew chief at Ty Joyner and just trying to figure out how to get to the next caution or to the end of this race to let his tires cool down. I will say, though, I'm really blown away as to how much track position he's been able to make up after that spin, because that cannot be easy on your tires. It's not like going to a high-grip racetrack where you spin out, you come down pit road, get 4 tires. I mean, that's really hard on that Goodyear rubber sliding around like that.
Behind Haley Deegan is the 4 of Will Rogers. He just got the call on that ride Thursday. He didn't change any plans. He's still got plans for tomorrow at Dover. He's got a sponsor appearance. Told me that his dad, Bill, is going to help get him to the red eye at 1:15 in the morning, and then he'll make his appearance at Dover tomorrow. That's dedication.
Yeah, I know Will Rogers is a really good friend of Noah Gregson, the guy I actually work with quite a bit throughout the week getting ready for different races, but those guys are really tight. And I know Will Rogers, he's just a good kid. He works really hard. He's been fighting his tail off trying to find the right funding to keep racing, and this opportunity come about, and he's definitely taking full advantage of it.
Trying to take advantage of the situation is Cody Vanderwall. Everyone knew after race number 1 he was the car to beat unless they made some fantastic mistake in the pits, and the other guys made some fantastic moves. Ryan Partridge, getting a feel for that radial, as Derek reported to us, has been keeping him at bay, but 62 out of 163 now. There's a lot of time left for that 43 car.
Yeah, and Dave, what we're seeing in this race, which is totally different than race 1, is Cody Vanderwall running in the second place is so much closer than anyone was to him in that first race. So he's able to pace himself right here. He's able to keep the leader of Ryan Partridge in check, take care of those tires, and make sure he has something to go with here in a few laps.
Can Vanderwall catch Partridge, and can he pass him? We'll be back to Tucson in a moment. It's been hot in the Arizona desert, and so is the racing. At Tucson Speedway, Derek Kraus started from the pole for the second race in a row on the Twin 100s tonight, but was penalized and is a lap down to the field. Cole Rouse had trouble early on. His teammate, a little bit of damage there for some other drivers, but Ryan Partridge came to the front and a good battle with local favorite Ron Norman in the 40 car. Partridge still leads, but that very fast 43 of Cody Vanderwall, who won race number 1, is right in his rearview mirror. Mentioned Kraus being a lap off the pace. He's racing for the free pass position right now with a couple of other drivers. Matt Levine among them, that 10 car. Kraus is just a little bit further behind him. Bill Kahn, Todd Souza, they're also on that lap. The problem, Brandon, is the leader is catching other cars.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like every single spot that Derek Kraus makes up, the leader just goes ahead and laps one other person. So we've talked about tires all night long in this race and in the first race, but for Derek Kraus, our points leader, he does not need to worry about tires. He just needs to pass as many cars as he can and make sure that if there's a caution, that he's in that lucky dog spot.
Cole's only full season in the series to date until this year was 2016 with Brune Cotty, those orange and blue cars. 4 top 5 finishes. Spent last year in ARCA and super late models for Kyle Busch Motorsports before he came back to the K&N Pro Series West.
I know Cole is really excited to come back out here and compete with Bill McAnally Racing. Ty Joyner, his crew chief, who also runs the shop at BMR, really excited about the talent that young man has. They just did a tire test out at Gateway, getting ready to go out there here in the summer months, and it went really well. Talked to Cole after, and they're really pumped up. I think if they can get through some of these racetracks that Cole, to be honest with you, struggled with a little bit back in 2016, I think that they're going to have a really good year and some wins to come here later in the summer.
See that yellow stripe on the back of the 7 car of Devin Dodson, a rookie in this series, his very first start. Hard to believe running this well. He came from crate modifieds on dirt and raced a late model in the Southeast last year, now moving up to K&N.
Anytime you can sit there and battle with Derek Thorne, a guy that's run super late models all over the country, in Pensacola at the Snowball Derby, has won big races out at Kern County in the Winter Showdown. Anytime that you can show up as a rookie and battle door to door with that guy, you're doing something pretty impressive.
And may learn something here as Thorne gets the pass, and as tires wear down, coming up on 25 to go out of 100. See what he can learn from the veteran Thorne.
And I'm sure the veteran of Jerry Pitts, his crew chief, Dave's telling him, you just stick right there with that 6 car. That man of Derek Thorne, he knows what he's doing. As you can see him really mimicking his line down in turns 1 and 2.
Back up front, Thorne's teammate, the 9 of Partridge, still has about a 4-car advantage over Cody Vanderwall. That in heavy traffic.
Sure, Ryan Partridge is just wanting to tell all this lap traffic, just get out of his way, because Cody Vanderwall, he's been stalking him all night, especially over the last 30 or 40 laps, just staying right there in touch with the leader about 3 or 4 car lengths back.
Part the C's, if you don't mind, right?
That's right.
Coming up to pass Cassie Gannis in the 08, putting her a lap off the pace. And it looks like most of the lap traffic tries to go to the high side, Brandon. Is that what NASCAR usually wants here?
It is, Dave. At a lot of racetracks, you know, the lap cars are on the bottom, but here, being that groove is the middle to the bottom. All those lap cars are up top.
Oh, front stretch. Cassie Gannis' car, huge wreck.
Cole Rouse just barely squeaking through there.
Oh, the 7 of Devin Dodson went airborne. Cassie's car had stopped right in front of us here on the front stretch, and there was huge contact. Watch this. Man.
Just launched the 7 of Devin Dodson up into the air, just ramping off that left front tire.
There's Rouse clearing on the high side. Here's another look at it, right side of your screen. It's like something breaks on the 08 or something. She's just almost stopped.
Yeah, right there, right before the start-finish line, she was already slow, and then that car just took a hard left coming down towards turn 1.
Here's at real speed. Drivers clearing, Huddleston low, Rouse high. And Devin Dodson had nowhere to go. Oh, there's Cassie out of the car. And that's really good news. Cassie's story includes a battle with scoliosis. She was in a back brace for a couple of years. And you like to see her walking away, especially from a wreck like that. Wow. She'll take the mandatory ride to the ambulance, and they'll check her out. Derek?
Todd Souza brings the Central Coast Cabinets number 13 down to the crew. A lot of cosmetic damage on that car. Contact out there after one car slowed and a few others made some contact, but really doesn't look like any damage to the suspension work. It's really all just cosmetic right now. They're going to try to break out some of the bare bond and get that taped up, get the rear bumper cover taped up as well so they can get it all back together to get the 13 back out on the track.
Those repairs happening under this caution period for the wreck between Cassie Gannis, who had almost rolled to a stop right at the start-finish line, and Devin Dodson. Look at him. He's still rolling, Brandon. Can you believe that?
I guess I can, Dave. I guess that's just a testament to Jefferson Pitch Racing and the cars that they bring to the racetrack. Those things holding up well.
Well, let's check in with Derek.
Jerry Pitts is the car owner and crew chief for the number 7 of Devin Dodson. He made contact out there with a slower car. What's the damage assessment, and can you make it to the end?
We're not sure right now. Problem is here, the way the infield's laid out, if we stop, we're going to go a bunch of laps down or a couple laps down. So it seems to be driving okay. His steering wheel straight, so we're just going to see if we can hang on here.
Devin Dodson going to try to hang on in the waning laps here in his debut in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West.
Well, he's going to make the highlight reel for sure. I'm not sure how straight that car is going to drive, though, Brandon. That was a big hit.
Really tough break for Devin. He was doing everything right there, battling with Derek Thorne in the 6 car for Sunrise Ford. Jerry Pitts really had that car tuned up. Tough break for him, but he's still rolling around there, so we'll see how he can finish it out.
There's going to be another late race restart coming up. Partridge, the leader, Vanderwall right with him. Restart coming at Tucson. To the inside, Partridge in the 9. To the outside, the 43 of Vanderwall.
This is going to be a battle here to the end, Dave. The best 2 cars are up front. Let's see who's got what. Ryan Partridge, really good jump on this restart.
And he chose that inside line. Meanwhile, behind him, 4, 5 wide with just 12 laps to go.
Choosing that bottom, though, it really opened up the bottom for Derek Thorne, his teammate in the 6 car, as he's able to roll up below him. Brian Partridge got into turn 1 almost so fast that he launched up on the exit of turn 2, opening the door for Derek Thorne.
Bruncati Racing 1 and 2, and now Thorne is going to be the leader over Partridge down the backstretch, but it's not by much.
And I'm sure Cody Vanderwall in the driver's seat sitting there just wondering which lane's going to prevail behind these 2 teammates that are really duking it out. They get singled out. Derek Thorne taking the lead from Ryan Partridge. That's big.
Behind them, this is for 4th, Huddleston in the 22. Here comes Vanessa Robinson to the outside.
Derek Kraus still one lap down, trying to get that lucky dog. I'm sure he's hoping for a really quick caution because he's got a good car racing up with these guys that are running the top 10.
Wow, he's going to take the extreme low line, and he's going to get by both of those cars. Kraus did not get the free pass on the last caution. That went to Ron Norman. Here goes Vanderwall, now moving to the outside. Can the 43 make it 2 for 2 tonight?
Really good move, veteran move by Cody Vanderwall. I know he's raced here a lot. We talked about it earlier with some of the cars that were charging to the front, creating a lot of speed on that outside lane. It just allows you to give that momentum, unwind your wheel, get that car wound up, and at this point, tires don't matter. So let it all hang out.
Gets a good drive off the corner as well. You saw him pull away from Partridge last time down the backstretch. He'll get a little more gap on him. Now trying to set up the leader, Derek Thorne. Think about that, setting up the veteran, Derek Thorne.
Yeah, it's going to be no easy task for Cody Vanderwall. Derek Thorne has a lot of laps at every single racetrack you can think of. And it looks like he's using his mirror pretty good because he's moved up. When Cody moved up to the top, we saw Derek Thorne move up and take away that line, forcing Cody Vanderwall to run the bottom of the racetrack.
There he goes. He's got the low line. Oh, man, and there's a crossover from Thorne. Yeah, and Cody's letting him know, I am right here. You go ahead and try and block. I'm coming through.
Yeah, you can see it. Derek Thorne's doing a really good job keeping Cody behind him. Cody's able to roll up to his quarter panel. A little bit of contact there.
Down in the dust. Vanderwall can't make it work. 4 to go.
This is really good short track racing. These guys have their tongues hanging out. They're not even worried about how to get the power down or saving their tires. This is all they got right here, just racing really close here with a few laps left.
Back to the outside goes Vanderwall. Thorne drifts up. Off the corner, there's contact.
Yeah, Thorne just getting into his door, trying to break his momentum. Ryan Partridge might be in the catbird seat right here as he's waiting to see if these guys make any more contact.
Now clearly to the lead, Cody Vanderwall. Does Thorne have anything left? Can Partridge come through and make it interesting?
That was big for Cody Vanderwall to clear Derek Thorne. Derek Thorne's still trying to roll that bottom. Looks like Cody Vanderwall, really strong car, just getting that outside momentum going.
They've used everything up, and Cody Vanderwall now has it clear by 1 full car length in the 43 car. 2 to go this time by for the teenager.
Yeah, Dave, and all he has to do right here is just make sure at this point, just no mistakes as he's moved back down to the bottom. You can't open up your entries too much for those veterans behind you because they'll dive down in there and make sure that they wiggle you up the racetrack. So he's got to be really smart right here.
And they're getting racy. That's okay with Cody because he sees the white flag.
2 more good corners for Cody Vanderwall, but Ryan Partridge, he's right there, so he can't rest going down the back straightaway.
Partridge is through to second. Does he have anything left? He taps the wall. Here comes Thorne back for second. But it won't be enough. The teenager will sweep at Tucson. Cody Vanderwall, 2 wins tonight.
That is huge, and he gave us a little bit of show across the start-finish line. They're buzzing that right rear. I'm sure Cody Vanderwall and his team, they are pumped up. That is a statement right there, being able to beat those 2 veterans, Ryan Partridge and Derek Thorne.
So you're saying he finally put the throttle pedal down all the way right there?
Oh, yeah, he said, I'm going to have some fun right here. That reminds me of watching Matt Kenseth back winning races years ago, crossing that start-finish line, putting on a show for the fans. So that's pretty cool.
And now the fireworks can go off, not after the first of 2 twin 100s, but after the second. And the victor is the same in both cases. The teenager from LaSalle, Colorado, Cody Vanderwall, in the family-owned number 43. You thought he was excited the first time? I'll bet he'll be twice as pumped when we talk to him in Victory Lane. K&N Pro Series Racing on NBCSN is brought to you by K&N High Flow Air Filters and Air Intake Systems. Because everyone loves that fast car smell. Boy, that 43 was fast tonight. Cody Vanderwall with a sweep. 2 twin 100 race victories for the teenager.
Both races, too. The first race being a dominating race for Cody Vanderwall, and then coming into the second race, he had to work a little hard for it there at the end. So just 2 totally different victories. But at the end of the day, this guy right here coming home with both checkered flags.
We spoke of filling the notebook. I'm sure he's got a lot of notes after tonight. He's in Victory Lane again.
Well, that makes 2 baths tonight for Cody Vanderwall. Picking up your second win. Didn't take you long to get that second one, did you?
No, man, this car was just so awesome tonight. I can't thank Jason and Warren enough for all the work they've put in over the last couple months to get this thing dialed in. It was just a lot of fun to race. It was awesome racing with Ryan and Derek. They're hard racers, clean racers. It was a lot of fun.
Did you know that you were going to be able to line Derek up like that? Because it looked like the car could work on the top or the bottom. And from watching him on the track, it looked like he was trying to take your line away.
Yeah, he was doing everything. He was doing everything he had to do. He did everything he had to do, and my car was just that little bit better. So I gotta give the glory to the Lord, man. It's just incredible. He's sent his son to die for me, and now he's giving me these opportunities. I can't thank him enough.
How cool is this with the Patriot Motorsports team being a smaller operation, and now you've got 2 wins?
Yeah, it's really cool. Super happy for John, and John Wood. I can't thank him enough for everything he's done for us. He's provided cars for us and everything, and I can't thank him enough for that.
Dave, so nice. He did it twice. Cody Vanderwall picks up another win tonight at Tucson.
And I got to tell you, Rudy and Stacy, you have raised a fine young man there, and a pretty darn good racer, too. His second win in his 17th try, and both of them came here tonight at Tucson. How about the night for Bob Bruncati? His cars finished in 2nd, 3rd, and in 5th with Trevor Huddleston. Vanessa Robinson kept that 27 car in 6th place, and a nice run for Will Rogers in his first time with a 4 car.
Another good run by Haley Deegan. Derek Kraus, his teammate. Speaking of Derek Kraus, tough points implications for him here tonight with that penalty coming to the restart box.
Well, Ryan Partridge finished 2nd tonight. He finished 3rd in the first race of the Twin 100s. And Ryan, was it a situation where as the car went on and on in the race, the tires started to wear away and got worse?
Not necessarily. We were planning on just kind of doing what everybody else was going to do. It's really tricky. You know, the first race, Cody was able to check out, and we had to play catch up, and he did the right combo. He did it again tonight. But anyways, we ended up kind of gaining the lead by happenstance. On the first couple laps, we were just kind of driving hard to maintain position, kind of find out where we're going to fall and cruise. We ended up getting to the lead. The lane opened up. We went straight to the lead. That was kind of bizarre. Then we were like, okay, now we got to set the pace up here. I'm pretty sure we did a good job at setting the pace. I'm still confident that we did. Not burning our tires down, saving just enough. But our Sunrise Ford Fusion, it was on rails tonight, so I don't think we burnt it down. Coming to the last restart, Cody on the outside, me on the inside. I got a good jump. Probably overdrove turn 1 a little bit. I drove it straight down into the bottom, which is where we'd been running all night. But it was pretty greasy down there now. We slid straight across 3 lanes up into the high groove and gave the guys behind me a nice run off. And so the rest of the race, we were playing catch up. But either way, it was a lot of fun. We were able to migrate up into the 2nd and 3rd groove for the rest of the race, the last 14 laps, and got to pick off my teammate on the last lap there. But congrats to Cody Vanderhall on sweeping the night. Like I said, our Sunrise Ford Fusion, Bob Bruncati, Maureen Bruncati owned a car. It was pretty good. The boys in the shop, Jeff Schrader, Bill Sedgwick, all the boys, they really did a stellar job learning some data on the first race to apply it to the second race and make the car that much better. Like I said, I don't think we burned it down, but maybe the driver made a little mistake on that last restart.
Dave, Brandon, Ryan Partridge finishes 2nd tonight.
Ryan Partridge showing his veteranness and his maturity right there. Still scratching his head as to how that 43 wore them out so bad, but trust me, they're going to go back to the drawing board and get that 9 car a lot better throughout the year.
And he's in good standing in the points, 2nd to his teammate Derek Thorne. They take over the top. Kraus drops to 3rd. Teammate Rouse just a few points behind him. And there's Cody up to 5th now in the standings. Derek?
Well, we can hear the left front tire going flat behind us in Derek Thorne's car. It's hissing the air out of it right now. But that last restart, was that your last ditch effort to try to win the race?
Oh, absolutely. We had saved a little bit and tried to play catch up a little bit with the 43 and the 9. They got about a straightaway lead on us. But, you know, 2nd and 3rd tonight's not exactly what we had hoped, but it's a good points night. Great to see the Sunrise Ford cars up front. Congrats to 43. He had a great car all weekend to be able to dominate both races, and it's a good run for him. But just can't thank Bob Bruncati enough, Sunrise Ford, all the crew guys on both teams, just giving us such good equipment.
How tough was it to try to keep him behind you? Because we saw at one point you moved up the track a little bit to try to take his line away.
Yeah, I was trying everything I could to keep him behind me, but he had a good car. I went to the top, he went to the bottom, he went to the top, so I don't think there was any slowing him down. And then Ryan got by me as well. And standing here behind you, our left front's going flat. Not sure how long that was happening. Usually I cry wolf at most races, like I'm getting a flat, but I didn't necessarily notice it, so I'm not sure if that played as a factor or not, but usually you like him to hold air.
Well, guys, he was second in the first race, 3rd in the second race. A good points day for the Sunrise Ford team.
For sure, good points day for Derek Thorne. And who knows, without that left front going flat or starting to leak a little bit of air, who knows where he could have been at the end of this one.
Thorne, the championship leader, will not be racing at South Boston, but you will. You looking forward to it?
I am. I think I've learned a lot and filled up my notebook watching these guys race really hard for twin 100 laps. Definitely got to apply it this coming week in South Boston.
That'll be the next race on NBCSN for the K&N Pro Series. We saw a good one in race number 2 here tonight. The winner was the same. There was a little more action, a little more contact.
Definitely a lot more action, but the same result for Cody Vanderwall. And the most impressive thing with that young man is he's battled out here for going on his second year now. A little bit underfunded, but at the end of the day, he was able to go get that checkered flag. That's huge for that young man.
Battled with the veterans, came home with a signature Matt Kenseth move across the start-finish line to take home his second of 2 checkered flags on the evening. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on NBCSN for K&N Pro Series Racing.